Hello and welcome to Education at SSBJ. We were into the chapter Coal and Petroleum of Class 8th CBSE. In the previous video, we have learned about fossil fuels, and you already know that they are formed by the decomposition of buried dead organisms. One of such is coal. And the story of coal begins 300 million years before. The dense forest on earth, particularly in the shallow places on the earth, got buried in under the sand due to natural disasters like floods. The layers of soil over these vegetation for many years resulted high pressure as well as temperature. This continued many years, and because of high pressure and temperature, the vegetation could convert into a coal which contains mainly a carbon. Now, when this coal is heated in absence of air, coke is formed. And the process of converting coal into coke in absence of air is called destructive distillation of coal. In that process, we have to heat a coal in absence of air, and accordingly we have to make an arrangement that no air is present. So you can see it on the screen. An airtight tube contains a coal which is then connected to the tubes, and in that tube there is a water, and one tube is completely immersed in water and the rest of the another is just above the surface of water. It's because coal gas, which is lighter, which doesn't mix in water, will go out, and what remains down below the water is a coal tar. So the products of destructive distillation of coal are coal gas, coal tar, and coke. And what do you mean by coal gas? Coal gas is again a fuel, and it is again used to produce heat in the industries. Coal tar is a black thick liquid, and it's a mixture of more than 200 substances. Now in this class we shall study one more fossil fuel called petroleum. Do you know that a fuel called petrol is used by the vehicles? But is that the petroleum? No, not at all. Petrol is different than petroleum. Please remember this. Petrol is used to run vehicles. And then we know the fuels like cooking gas, a high-grade kerosene for aeroplanes, and the wax which gives light. All these are so-called fuels are the products of petroleum. What we use a bottled gas in the house, the vehicles are using petrol. Then you must have seen naphthalene balls, high grade kerosenes, diesel, and lubricating oils such as grease and other type of oils, and the fuels which are used to run the ship, and so many. All these are the products of petroleum. All these contents are the products of petroleum, right? How is this petroleum formed then? Again, please recall formation of coal. Formation of petroleum is slightly different than formation of coal. Petroleum is formed from organisms living in the sea. These organisms, when die, their bodies settle at the bottom of the sea and they are covered with the layers of sand and clay. And then this mass of dead organisms gets converted into kerosene. Because of the high pressure and temperature, for many years, this mass of dead sea organisms, I repeat, sea organisms, converts into what we call a crude oil. This happens because of absence of air and high temperature and pressure. But it doesn't form only a petroleum, which is called crude oil, but natural gas also. Sometimes this petroleum, due to pressure and its quantity, comes out on the floor in some places. If you look at the layers of earth, you will find petroleum. You can see it on the screen, oil reservoir, and that is the area where petroleum is collected, and below that water will be there, which indicates petroleum is lighter than the water, and over that gas will be there. So first water, above that petroleum, and over that gas. This is how the layers are formed under the earth, right? And how to obtain this? You have to dig the ground. Go deep into the ground. The first oil well was drilled in Pennsylvania, USA in 1859. Do you know? After that, it is in our country, Assam, oil wells are discovered. In India, oil is found in Assam, Gujarat, Mumbai High, and in the river basins of Godavari and Krishna. Petroleum available under the ground is not in a pure form. It's very crude. And so it is called as a crude oil. It is to be refined. and then that refining process is called fractional distillation of petroleum, which is not in your syllabus. However, we will just throw a light on what actually a fractional distillation is. Again, back to the crude oil. This is very much unprocessed. What we obtain under the ground using huge machines, right, is a crude oil which is a completely very black, thick liquid, but it contains many hydrocarbons, many type of products. But remember, each of them, when heated, boil at different temperature. Remember this is very important. So the crude oil which is available in the earth, what we call as a petroleum, contains many contents, many products. Each of them, when heated, they boil at different temperature. And that particular point is considered to separate them. And that process is called fractional distillation of petroleum. Fractional means you take out all the fractions which are there in the petroleum, right? So what that petroleum distillation contain? For example, this is a heater and crude oil is put here. The entire tower is called fractionating tower. Now there are the ways for different products to go out, because you can see each of them boil at different temperatures, right? Starting from here, you see fuel oil which is used in ship will boil at 350, whereas the grease, what we call, we use it for machines and all, that is boiling at 300 degrees centigrade. Diesel again 260, kerosene, high grade kerosene 160 degrees centigrade. Naphthalene balls, okay, petrol 70 degrees centigrade, and finally what we use in the cylinder will boil at just 20 degrees centigrade. So since these are boiling at different temperatures, so heating takes place at very high temperature here in the initial stage. As and when a particular temperature is reached, that component will come out. So the entire process is called fractional distillation of petroleum. So these are the products, right? This is not a part of your syllabus, but however, you have to remember the components of petroleum. What are the products? So keep an eye on the screen now and try to remember all these components. We shall end this video tutorial here and see you in the next video tutorial. Till then, stay healthy and stay fit.